What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk with you about something that gets missed in many people's training routines, and that is actually missing shots. What do you do when you miss shots? Now, to be real, when we look at fight percentages, when we look at how many punches or kicks actually land, you're usually missing over half. For many people, far over half. Especially when you're trying to take somebody's head off and you miss, that is something worth training, so that when you get in the ring, it's not the first time it's happened to you, and you know how you're going to follow up or how you're going to slip their counterattack. There's so many things that we can talk about. Now, we're going to reference today what to do with hands, what you do. You can actually do techniques you can do when you miss with hands, what techniques you will use when you miss with your legs. And I want to talk about how often I train this and how I go about training it. Because like I said, if you never practice, you're always like, I hit them. You're doing that on the pads, you're doing that on the bags. The first time the guy goes to slip and you miss and you over rotate, that's not a great time for that to happen for the first time. So I like to really prep up in my training camps for anything that can happen, and missing shots is something that is guaranteed gonna happen. So I want to start off with you guys and let's talk about missing hooks. Now, when we miss a hook, very often, like I said, we hit the bag, we pull back, we hit the pad, we pull back. We're not used to going straight through. So it's very important that when you shadow box, you are taking the opportunity to practice missing things when you actually have nothing to hit in front of you. That's something that shadow boxing is fantastic for, but I don't think many people visualize the way they should actually be following up on that. They just kind of like, oh, I throw, and they just kind of control instead of going 1, 2, and then like, whoa, trying to take the head off, and we miss. So we can practice that in shadow. We can also practice it on bags or in pad work. So let's say we miss with the hook. We'll talk first about what I do, and then we'll talk about actually training it. When we miss on a big power hook, one that went right through, one of the first things that we can do is just go, okay, shoot, hands back to the head, because that's obviously one of the main priorities, is always protect your head. So you can stand there against, a punching bag, touch it a few times with your jab, and then imagine the guy leans back, whoop, and right back to there. That's the first one that you should get very good at, which you're hopefully already doing in sparring. The next one is evasion. Once I swing, I roll. So when I come through and my head starts falling, because it's falling and sort of tracking my hand, then I just roll out to the other side. The next thing that we can do is practice actually missing a shot and then coming back with another. And that's one that is really, really underutilized in training, because it happens so much. You hit somebody, you miss, and then you should be able to come back. But if you don't train it, you're not going to be as used to missing, gathering your energy, and then throwing it back into the next shot. So those are 3 of the favorites that I like to actually train. I miss, I draw my hands back, I miss, I roll under, I miss, and I come back with my counter shot or my follow-up shot. So we can set up on the bag and we can practice, okay, I land my cross, boom, I land my cross, boom, and then I land my cross, I miss, whoop, and then I follow up again. Something like that, and you just train that over and over. Throwing, this is very important. Throwing the hook with 100% power, like you're gonna hit something. That's what you have to imagine. There's something there, you're gonna hit it, but then all of a sudden, oh shoot, he leans back and my weight's going through, I regather my energy and I put all my weight into my next shot. And if you overextend or you're doing something wrong, the pace will be more like this. This is incorrect, by the way. If I go 1, that's far too slow. It needs to be more like this. Just a little bit faster. So you can train that over and over. So hopefully the first time in a fight you go and you go, whoa, I missed. You can gather your energy and come back very quickly instead of having that big gap in between shots. Now, when we train missing straight punches, the danger of missing a straight punch is very often people hyperextend at the elbow. So if I'm coming up to bob, and obviously I'm not going to train, missing way off to the side, but if the target's here, I'm just going to throw slightly off to the side. Maybe I'll touch once, I'll touch twice, and then I go whoop, and I get to practice still aiming through, still making sure I don't straighten my arm completely. There's always that tiny little bend in it. And with that tiny bend there, then my body's all chambered up and I can follow through with my big shot. And the more advanced you are, the more you can practice things like, okay, I miss, and then I come back with a shot that lands. And just so many people don't do that. They go 1, 2, 3, everything feels good. Feels good. And the first time you go in a fight and you go, oh, I'm missing, and they just kind of give up, as opposed to a 1, 2, 3. I can go 1, 2, 3. I can go 1, 2, 3. I can go miss, or miss, hit. There's so many things that you can do, but really try to first incorporate this into shadow boxing. When you're throwing, you're doing your shadow, it's not always just tap, 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 tap. You go, oh, I missed. Or I throw a big straight punch, oh, I missed. And you practice still pulling your hands back to your head, your follow-up, and then, you know, I miss, and then I throw my next punch. Those are all good things to practice and to be very aware of. If you're not aware of it, you're never going to work it. That's the big first key. That's why I wanted to give you guys this episode today. If you're not already aware of this, now you are. It's going to add a whole extra element to your shadow boxing and hopefully your bag work routine. If you have a good pad holder, and you'll see this very often in Thailand, the guys will, you know, they'll be like round kick, and then they get you to round kick again, and as you go to round kick, they just pull and they let the kick sail through. And somebody who's not balanced very often will fall down, and the Thai trainer just kind of laughs at them. But somebody who's really good, it'll make no difference. They miss, and then they recover instantly. So if you have a good pad holder, tell them sometimes, without letting me know, make me miss. They might go like left hook, and then they'll pull it, and then you end up missing, and then they'll hopefully swing at your head after. Now, we've covered pretty much everything I want to talk about in terms of punches. I could go much more in depth. Like we could do a whole hour on just missing shots with your hands and the follow-ups and all that, but we need to limit the time. I have things to do today as well. So let's move into our kicks quickly. And let's talk only today, because like I said, I'm time limited here. Talk only today about roundhouse kicks, and let's go up to maybe chest or head level. Those are ones very often that will miss because it's very easy for people to take a step back, or if they're skilled, they'll do a little fade back evasion technique. So when I throw something and I miss my round kick, we practice this all the time in shadow boxing, hopefully. You know, we throw, and we come straight through. That's practicing missing. Something that we do in kicking, but not in punching. So something to consider there. Maybe a little bit more of that on the punching. But when I'm doing that on my kicks, a lot of times people just, you know, they do blah, blah, and they just sail through. And they just kind of put their foot down and they're like, oh, okay, yeah. That's the wrong tactic, in my opinion. You're practicing missing, but being complacent about it. So when you miss, you need to be aware of what the situation is. Imagine when you throw your shot, is my opponent backing out completely out of range? Like way back where you guys are. If that's the case, then sure, I can be chill about it. If they take a little step back, but not enough where I'm safe, then I need to have my follow-up technique, whatever that will be. What are some follow-up techniques? Well, let's go through it really fast. I miss, I come right to here, I go, oh shoot, they're gonna throw a low kick. I come back for my check. That could be one. I could miss and come right around with the other check. That's number 2. If they do a fade back and I throw my round kick, I can come hook, and I can come right into my spinning back fist or spinning elbow if they're really tight to me. There are so many follow-ups, but the main thing that we need to be aware of on the round kicks when we throw, tap, tap, follow through. Don't just hang out. Imagine there's somebody there who's coming for you. Tap, tap, follow through. Oh, they're on me. 1, 2, 3, follow through, boom. Knock them down with that. When you start adding this into your shadow boxing, it will hopefully sort of give you muscle memory for that when it happens in sparring, or even better in a fight, you'll miss and right away you'll start going, oh shoot, and you'll start pulling back for that counter shot that's coming so you can be defensive. Or you'll recognize, oh, they're out of the way, they're leaning back, okay, I need to start moving into a new technique, and then you come to your spinning back fist, you score that spinning back fist knockdown, which I really like. I really like that technique. I've talked about it before, but I'll definitely do some more episodes in the future on the spinning back fist and the setup. So guys, I hope everything I've talked about so far is enough for you to sort of go on with your training in the next week and really think about it and have an understanding which you may not have already. Again, you can work shadow boxing, very important. You should incorporate this into your shadow boxing every time you shadow box. Not like once in a while, not like, oh, I'll do a round where I practice missing. Every time you shadow box, like I land, I miss. Oh, okay, I miss, and then I hit a couple times, and you're always switching up in your mind what is actually happening. Are you landing on the opponent or are you not? And then you can get more advanced and you can actually get some rounds on the bag where you practice it, okay? I land, I miss, I hit back. I land, I miss, I roll. I land, I miss, I defend. And you start actually just doing rounds like that, which will then eventually just sort of translate into you pulling it off when needed. And then again, you'll pull it off in sparring when needed, and then hopefully in the fight when needed. Guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, give it a like. If you have not already, join the channel, get subscribed. Helps me so much, helps the channel grow, which is amazing. Train hard, guys. I'll see you back here soon for another video.